in my office here in Boston, and I want to talk about 5 books that you absolutely must read. I mean, I would immediately order these from Amazon, go to a local library, go to the bookstore, get these books right away if you haven't read them already. They played a critical part in helping me develop the success mindset and the business owner entrepreneurial mindset to become successful. And I've read each of these books at least 2 or 3 times, and I highlighted them, bookmarked them. I've really gone through them and studied the principles in these books. So the first book I want to talk about, which actually I was looking for it, I was going to show it to you, but I think I might have given it to somebody. It's Tested Advertising Methods by John Caples. And this is a book you need to read if you want to learn how to write copy, if you want to learn basic marketing principles that you're going to need to know if you start an online business. That's Tested Advertising Methods by John Caples. And literally that little book is all you need to know about writing copy. Unless you plan on being a professional copywriter, which, hey, is a viable option if that's what you want to do. And even if you are planning on being a professional copywriter, it's the first book to read to see if that's really something that you want to do. But every online business owner, you should know basic salesmanship and basic copy. And that's what this book will teach you. So definitely grab that book if you can. You can get it on Amazon used for a couple bucks. The next book I want to talk about is a book, and a lot of you may have heard of this. It's called The Master Key to Riches by Napoleon Hill. He has another book called Think and Grow Rich, which I also recommend. And you can see that I've been through this book quite a bit. I've highlighted it in different colors. I've read it. This book I've read probably 4 times. And this book has literally changed the way I think. I remember being in my 200 square foot apartment reading this book and just being so excited. Because back when I was dead broke, I read these principles, they sunk in. And it's basically what this is. Napoleon Hill interviewed the most successful people in his time, the really super wealthy people, and he studied them and he noted and he made a list. And then he compiled everything he learned from working with and studying the most successful people of his time. People who were basically like the Carnegies, the Rockefellers, the really wealthy people. And he wrote a book from everything he learned about being successful from them, directly from them, from the wealthiest people in the world. And everything from, developing a burning desire to having a definite purpose. And just read the book. It's awesome. The next book I want to talk about is a book called The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. It's The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And this is probably the most underrated success book out there. And many of you may not have heard of it, but it's a phenomenal book. It teaches you the habits of successful people. Now, it's really targeted towards job people, but the principles apply to everyone. Everything from dreaming big and having the right attitude. And he gives lots of examples and lots of case studies in there to really clarify his point. So I definitely recommend reading this book. Absolutely great book. The next book I want to talk about, and a lot of you might say, well, I don't really need to know that stuff. And this is a book on people skills. It's how to have confidence and power in dealing with people. I don't care if you're sitting behind a computer, and unless you plan on just doing some kind of PPC affiliate marketing type business where you don't need any human interaction, if you plan on building a team and having a walk-away business at any point, you're going to have to deal with people. And this is the book you absolutely need to know. You absolutely need to study and read. And it'll teach you all the people skills you need to know to effectively build a team, interact with them in a way so that they'll be motivated to work with you and help you succeed. And this is a critical skill I see a lot of online business owners are totally missing, and their businesses end up falling apart and end up having lots of issues with their employees and outsourcers because they really lack some basic people skills. So read this, it's really important. The last book I want to talk about is, I think I may have mentioned this in another video, is Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And this is actually the first book I read when I first started looking at, starting out my own business and going that route. And it really opened my eyes to the difference between an employee mindset and a business owner mindset. And there's a huge difference. And and this book explains exactly the difference between those two mindsets. It's radically different. In a nutshell, employees make money and they basically use that money to buy what they think are assets but are really liabilities. And rich people take their money and they invest it into assets. And they live below their means until they have enough assets to develop a massive ongoing residual income. People with a business owner mindset, that is. So, and the way he defines an asset is something that puts money in your pocket month after month. An asset is not like, buying a house. If you go out and buy a big house, you still have to pay for it every month and it's taking money out of your pocket. Yeah, it might be appreciating over the long term, but it's not in the asset in the sense that it's not creating a positive cash flow for you. So, and that's one of the points he talks about, is that you got to start building assets if you want to be a business owner, if you want to be successful, and be financially free. You got to start building assets that put money into your pocket every single month. And so he goes a lot more detail into that in the book. Go ahead, get the book, read it right away. So those are the 5 books you absolutely have to read. Read them once, twice, 3 times, as long as it takes until these principles start sinking in and you start seeing results.